Why are you still awake at 2 a.m. scrolling through videos about love when everyone your age is supposed to be settled? Why does your heart race when someone 20 years younger smiles at you, and then immediately flood with shame? Why did God let you survive your spouse, your marriage, your entire life plan, only to leave you here alone with desires you're too embarrassed to pray about? Listen to me, chosen one. You didn't accidentally click on this video. This message tracked you down like a heat-seeking missile because tonight, right now, heaven is about to shatter a lie that's been keeping you in prison. A lie that says your season for love, for passion, for being wanted is over just because you've got grey hair and a Medicare card. It's late, the house is so quiet you can hear the refrigerator hum. The TV's on some rerun you've seen 100 times, but you're not watching. You're here scrolling, searching for something you can't even name. Your body's exhausted, but your heart is screaming that it's not finished, that there's still fire in there, that you still want to be chosen by someone. And then you saw that younger face, those younger eyes, and something in you leaped. But just as fast, the shame crashed in like a tidal wave. What are you thinking? You're too old for this. People will laugh at you. Your kids will be horrified. The church will whisper you're being foolish, pathetic, desperate. Stop right there. Before we go one more second, I want to pause and thank every single soul who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling, who've been told their desires died with their youth. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. Your support, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message is already resonating with your soul, go ahead and let that seed of faith take root. Now hear me clearly. Heaven is not blushing. God is not embarrassed by what He Himself is aligning. This is not about you chasing youth like some desperate fool. This is about God sending someone whose years are fewer but whose spirit is ancient. Someone whose assignment requires your wisdom, your scars, your decades of walking with God through hell and back. What if the age gap you're worried about is the exact gap God is using to bridge two destinies? What if your fear of looking foolish is the last wall between you and the most profound love you've ever known? Before we're done tonight, I'm going to show you the one biblical test that reveals whether this younger person is from heaven or from hell. Don't you dare miss that. If something in you is already stirring, if your chest is tight and your eyes are wet, type in the comments right now, Lord, if this is you, open my eyes. Give me this whole hour. Don't click away. This might be the conversation that explains the last 10 years of your life. Why does your stomach drop when you imagine telling your daughter you're attracted to someone her age? Why do you hear your late mother's voice in your head saying, act your age? Why has the church made you feel like wanting love at 70 is somehow dirty? Let me tell you something that's going to cut through 60 years of religious conditioning like a hot knife through butter. Society has two scripts, and both of them are lies. If an older man likes a younger woman, he's called a creep, a predator, a fool having a midlife crisis. If an older woman likes a younger man, she's labeled desperate, pathetic, trying to recapture her youth. But here's the question nobody's asking, the question that changes everything. What if God is in it? What if the very thing that makes you blush with shame is the exact thing heaven orchestrated before you even woke up this morning? You've been carrying shame over who your heart notices. You've been apologizing to God for feelings He Himself planted in your chest. You've been hiding attraction like it's a sin when it might be the most sacred invitation you've received in decades. Let's be real for a second. You know what the world says. You've heard it 1,000 times. See Scene, Facebook, your book club, your kids, they all have opinions about what's appropriate for someone your age. They've got rule books about who should date whom, what looks right, what makes sense on paper. And you've been living under that weight so long you forgot there's a higher authority. Isaiah 15:15 settles this once and for all. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. God's ways are not Sitchin's ways. Heaven's logic is not your neighbor's logic. The Almighty doesn't consult your children before He aligns your destiny with someone whose birth date doesn't match yours. You think God looks at a birth certificate. You think the creator of the universe, who spoke galaxies into existence, who knows the number of hairs on your head, who saw you before your mother's womb, you think He's counting years like some DNV clerk checking your driver's license. He looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 6:6 makes it crystal clear. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. When God looks at you and that younger person, He doesn't see a gap. He sees a bridge. He doesn't see an age difference. He sees assignment alignment. He doesn't see what culture sees. He sees what eternity requires. Think of it this way. You're like a beautiful brownstone in Brooklyn's solid foundation, rich history, character carved into every brick by decades of storms and sunshine. That building has seen generations come and go. It's weathered hurricanes and heat waves. It's got stories in its bones. But sometimes, God sends a younger electrician to rewire what's behind those walls. Not because the house is broken, but because it's about to light up in ways it never has before. The old structure stays. The history remains. But the power running through it, that gets upgraded. That younger person isn't here to replace your past. They're here to activate your future. Now let me be abundantly clear, because this matters more than anything. I'm talking about healthy, God-led, mutual relationships between consenting adults. Two grown people who honor each other, respect each other, and seek God's face together. This is not about manipulation. This is not about power games. This is not about some fantasy where you relive your 20s. If there's abuse, if there's control, if there's anything that dishonors the image of God in either person, that's not from heaven. That's from hell, and you run. But if this is real, if this is mutual, if both of you are hearing God whisper the same impossible thing, then who are you to call unclean what God has called holy? You've been so busy listening to what people think that you stopped listening to what God is saying. You've been so focused on looking appropriate that you missed the divine appointment standing right in front of you. Here's what I know that you don't know yet. There is a reason your spirit lit up around this person. It wasn't random. It wasn't your imagination. Later in this message, I'm going to tell you the 3 hidden assignments wrapped inside this younger partner assignments that have nothing to do with romance and everything to do with your destiny. But right now, I need you to hear this. You've carried so much shame over who your heart notices. You've apologized for feelings that might be the voice of God. You've hidden desires that could be divine direction. What if heaven is not shaming you? What if He's inviting you to discern? What if the confusion you feel isn't confusion at all, but the sound of an old door cracking open after being locked for decades? If you've ever felt judged for who you were attracted to, by family, by church, by your own inner critic, just whisper right now, God, heal my shame. You don't have to type it. You don't have to announce it. Just say it. He hears you. He's been waiting to hear you give Him permission to touch that wound. Because what's coming next is going to require you to walk without shame. What I'm about to show you demands that you trust heaven's voice over every other voice screaming in your ear. The question isn't whether this is appropriate by the world's standards. The question is, are you brave enough to follow God when His plan looks nothing like your plan? Listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to reveal to you isn't some feel-good theory cooked up by a motivational speaker. This is biblical pattern. This is prophetic alignment. And if you can receive what I'm about to say, it will shatter every lie the enemy has whispered about your age, your relevance, and your future. You see, when God sends a younger partner into your life, He's not playing games. He's not being random. He's not throwing you a bone because He feels sorry for you sitting alone in that house night after night. No, God is a strategist. And every move He makes has 3 layers of purpose you can't see until you're willing to look deeper. So let me break this down for you the way it was shown to me in prayer. 3 prophetic reasons, 3 divine assignments, 3 shockwaves that will explain why your heart won't let this go. Reason number 1, to resurrect joy and playfulness. I need you to be honest with me right now. When was the last time you laughed so hard your stomach hurt? When was the last time you felt giddy, excited, like a teenager sneaking out after curfew? When was the last time you danced in your kitchen, sang in your car without caring who saw you, felt alive instead of just functional? Life made you serious, didn't it? Loss made you quiet. Responsibility made you stone-faced. You buried your husband, or your wife walked out, or your kids grew up and forgot to call. And somewhere along the way, you forgot how to laugh with your whole body. You forgot what it feels like to be silly, spontaneous, young in your spirit even if your knees crack when you stand up. That's not aging, beloved. That's grief wearing your face like a mask. And God looked down at you carrying all that weight and said, "Enough, I'm sending a joy defibrillator, someone younger. Someone who doesn't carry your history, your baggage, your 50 years of reasons to be cautious. Someone who still believes life is an adventure, not a waiting room." Proverbs 10:22 says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Your bones have been drying up for years. But God is sending someone younger not to mock your age, but to shock your joy back to life. They're going to pull you into experiences you thought were behind you. Concerts, road trips, conversations that last until 4 a.m., laughter that makes you forget you're 72. This isn't about them making you young again. This is about them reminding you that joy never had an expiration date. You didn't lose your capacity for playfulness. You just buried it under survival mode. And now God is digging it back up. Reason number 2, to bridge generations and legacy. Now here's where it gets prophetic, and I need you to lean in because most people miss this entirely. When God brings a younger partner into your life, He's not just thinking about your happiness. He's thinking about legacy. He's thinking about generations. He's thinking about earthquakes. You carry something they don't have. Wisdom stories. Decades of walking with God through fire and coming out with your faith intact. You've got scars that preach sermons. You've got experience that can't be Googled. You know what it means to endure, to forgive, to trust God when everything visible says He's late. But they carry something you don't have. Technology, networks, access to rooms and platforms and people you'd never encounter on your own. They speak the language of this generation. They understand social media, movements, cultural shifts. They've got the stamina to run while you've got the map to show them where to go. Ecclesiastes 4:10 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor." But listen to what I'm telling you. This isn't just about romance. This is about legacy. God is creating a bridge over 2 rivers. You are wisdom. They are reach. And when those 2 things merge, you don't just impact your own life. You impact bloodlines, community, entire movements. 1 generation can clap, but 2 generations together that causes an earthquake. Your grandkids see you loved, respected, vibrant. Younger people in your church, your neighborhood, your circle see that God still honors His elders. Your younger partner brings you into spaces where your voice, your story, Your prayers are desperately needed, but would never have been heard without them. This is not about you chasing your youth. This is about God weaponizing your age by pairing it with someone who can carry it further than you ever could alone. Reason number 3, to accelerate untapped assignments. And now we come to the part that's going to sting a little before it sets you free. How many of you told yourself, "I missed my time"? How many of you looked at your age and said, "It's too late for me to start that business, write that book, launch that ministry, make that impact"? How many dreams did you bury because you convinced yourself the window closed? But God said, "No, you didn't miss your time. You just needed a different pace partner." See, younger people walk faster. They dream louder. They move with a boldness that comes from not knowing yet how hard life can hit. And when God pairs them with you, something supernatural happens. They pull you into rooms you would never entered alone. They push you toward risks you would have avoided. They accelerate assignments you thought were dead. Isaiah 40:31 promises, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary." You thought that renewal was over, but God just sent your renewal in human form. They're not here to slow down for you. They're here to speed you up, to pull dormant gifts out of you, to create urgency where you've been coasting, to remind you that you've still got something left to build, to say, to give. God is not just giving you romance, chosen one. He's giving you velocity. Now, before we go any further, I need to warn you about something critical. In just a moment, I'm going to show you how the enemy counterfeits this younger alignment to trap you financially and emotionally. Because not every younger person who shows interest is sent from heaven. Some are sent from hell, wrapped in attraction, designed to drain you dry. You need to know the difference. Don't click away now. If one of these reasons hit your spirit like lightning, type in the comments right now, "I still have purpose." Let the algorithm and the atmosphere know you're not done. You're not finished. You're not waiting to die. You're getting ready to fly. Let me ask you something nobody else will ask you tonight. What if you get sick? What if your body gives out? What if you need help getting out of bed, help remembering things, help with things you used to do without thinking? Will they still want you then? Or will they look at you with those eyes, the ones that say, "I didn't sign up for this"? You've been carrying that question around like a stone in your chest, haven't you? You lie there at night and you think about it. You imagine the worst. You see yourself becoming the burden, the problem, the weight that drags someone else down. And here's the question that really keeps you awake. Are they with you? Or are they with your pension check? Are they drawn to your spirit or your social security? Because you've lived long enough to know that some people smell vulnerability the way sharks smell blood in the water. Your kids, oh God, your kids, you can already hear their voices. "Mom, what are you thinking? He's 30 years younger. Dad, she's using you." Can't you see that? You can feel their judgment before it even happens. You can see the family dinner where nobody talks about it, but everybody's thinking about it. You don't want to be the embarrassment, the foolish old person who got taken advantage of, the punchline. So you stay quiet. You keep your heart locked up. You tell yourself it's wisdom when really it's just fear wearing a disguise. But listen to me now, chosen one. God is aligning you with a younger partner, not to expose your weaknesses, but to honor the way you carried your cross. Do you hear me? Not to mock you, not to use you, to honor you. Because here's what the enemy doesn't want you to understand. A partner from God, even if they're younger, is not there to fix you or to fund you. They are there to mirror God's tenderness back to you, to show you what you've been showing others your whole life, but never received yourself. Think about this. For how many years have you been the strong one, the provider, the problem solver, the one everybody came to when their world was falling apart? You were the reading glasses for everyone else's problems, weren't you? You could see their needs crystal clear. You helped them read the fine print of their own pain. But you couldn't see your own heart anymore. It got blurry, faded, lost in the background while you focused on everyone else. Now God is putting someone in your life like a pair of reading glasses, so you can finally see your own heart again. So you can read your own needs. So you can look at yourself and say, I matter. I'm still here. I still deserve tenderness. Proverbs 20:19 says, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. This person God is sending, they're the still water. And when you look into their eyes, you're going to see your own worth reflected back at you. Not your wrinkles, not your age, not your limitations. Your worth. But you're scared because you've watched other people get burned. You've seen the news stories. The older widow who married the younger man and he cleaned out her bank account. The grandfather who fell for the younger woman and she disappeared the moment the money ran out. You've seen it. You know it happens. So let me tell you how to know the difference. A person sent by God will honor your pace. They won't rush you. They won't pressure you. They won't isolate you from your family or your friends. They won't ask you to prove your love with your wallet. In fact, 1 Corinthians 5 tells us that love does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. If they're pushing, manipulating, demanding, that's not from heaven. That's from hell. But if they're patient, if they're willing to wait, if they see your fear and they don't run from it but they walk toward it gently, if they say, I'm not going anywhere, that's the sign. God is aligning you with a younger partner, not to expose your weaknesses, but to honor the way you carried your cross. Now I need you to feel something with me. Close your eyes for just a second if you're somewhere safe. Put your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. That heart has been beating for 70 years, 80 years, maybe more. Every beat is a miracle. Every beat is a testimony that you're still here for a reason. You are not a burden, you are a reward. Let me say that again because I need it to land in the deepest part of you. You are not a burden, you are a reward. You are the prize at the end of a long, hard race. You are the treasure that someone has been praying for without even knowing your name yet. Isaiah 4:4 says, even to your old age and grey hairs I am he who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you. God doesn't see you as a burden. Why would he send someone who does? In just a few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a simple prayer, a powerful prayer, that you can pray tonight to know whether you should open the door to this connection or close it. Whether this is heaven knocking or the enemy disguised as opportunity. Don't skip ahead. Stay with me. Because what comes next will give you the clarity you've been begging God for. But first, if you've ever been afraid of being a burden, I want you to do something right now. Put your hand on your chest, feel that heartbeat, and whisper these words out loud. Lord, show me how you see me. Don't rush it. Let it settle. Because the way God sees you is about to collide with the way you've been seeing yourself. And when those two visions meet, everything changes. Now listen to me very carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you could save your life, your dignity, and your walk with God. Not every younger person who shows interest in you is sent from heaven. Some are sent from hell itself, and they come wrapped in flattery, romance, and words that sound like poetry but smell like sulfur. You've been lonely so long that when someone finally pays attention, your heart wants to believe it's real before your spirit has a chance to test it. That's exactly when the enemy strikes. He knows you're vulnerable. He knows you're hungry for touch, for companionship, for someone to look at you like you still matter. And he will send a counterfeit so convincing that you'll mistake smoke for fire. Let me make this plain as day. There are two types of younger partners who will cross your path. The first is divine alignment. The second is demonic assignment. And beloved, you better learn the difference before you hand over your heart, your home, or your hard-earned money to the wrong one. Divine alignment honors your age. They don't mock your pace. They don't rush you into bed or rush you to the bank. They respect your story, your scars, your boundaries, and most importantly, your walk with God. When they look at you, they see wisdom wrapped in flesh. They're drawn to your spirit, not your social security check. They ask about your faith before they ask about your finances. And when you're with them, your prayer life doesn't die, it deepens. But demonic assignment. Oh, beloved, it comes in sweet, it flatters you, tells you you're beautiful, tells you you're young, tells you everything you've been dying to hear. But watch closely. It rushes you, confuses you, makes you feel like you have to prove yourself, perform, or pay to keep their attention. It isolates you from family, from church, from anyone who might tell you the truth. And slowly, quietly, it drains you spiritually, emotionally, financially. 1 Corinthians 4:3 says, God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. So here's your first test. Do you feel peace or do you just feel butterflies? Because butterflies are chemistry. Peace is confirmation. Butterflies fade in 3 months. Peace sustains you for 30 years. Let me give you the practical signs that this is from God. They respect your tempo. They don't pressure you for intimacy, money, or quick decisions. They show consistent character when nobody's looking, not just when they want something from you. They honor your need for prayer, for space, for discernment. They don't get offended when you say, I need to talk to God about this. In fact, they say it first. But if they're moving too fast, if they're already talking about moving in or borrowing money, or why you don't trust them enough, that's not love. That's a setup. Proverbs 19:2 warns, desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever makes haste with his feet misses the way. If they're rushing you, they're trying to outrun your discernment. Now here's the final test, and I want you to say this to yourself every single time doubt creeps in. Can I keep my walk with God if I say yes to this person? Not can I keep my social life? Not can I keep my reputation? Can I keep my walk with God? Because if everything else leaves but your connection to the Lord gets stronger, that's a sign this person is aligned with heaven. But if your boundaries get blurry, if your prayer life dies, if your bank account starts disappearing, if you stop going to church because they don't like your pastor, if you're hiding this relationship from people who love you, that's not alignment. Beloved, that's an ambush. Let me paint you a picture. Lust is smoke. It looks dramatic, it rises fast, it fills the room, but it chokes you. You can't breathe in it. You can't see through it. And when it clears, there's nothing left but ash and regret. But godly love is fire. It warms you. It cooks real food, it lights your path. And it doesn't burn you, it refines you. Hebrews 10:4 declares, let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled. For God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous. God is not a prude. He invented intimacy, but he also invented order. And anything that pulls you away from him to get to someone else is not his design, it's a detour into destruction. Here's what heaven will never do. Heaven will never send you somebody who requires you to betray yourself to keep them. God will never ask you to compromise your integrity, abandon your values, or sacrifice your peace just to avoid being alone. If keeping them cost you your soul, they were never meant to be kept. So right now, if you're tangled up with someone and you can't tell if it's God or a trap, I need you to drop in the comments, Lord, reveal the truth, not tomorrow, right now, because clarity is your birthright and confusion is the enemy's playground. And if this word is blessing you, if it's already answering questions you've been too afraid to ask out loud, hit that like button so this message finds another senior who's crying over the same doubts, the same fears, the same hope that maybe, just maybe, love isn't over yet. Stay with me because before we close, I'm going to pray over your love life, your body, and even your adult children, So this alignment doesn't tear your family apart, but heals it. You're about to step into the most sacred part of this hour, and you don't want to miss what God is about to release over your life. Listen to me, chosen one. God is not handing you a younger partner so you can pretend you're 25 again. He's not calling you into some fantasy where you squeeze into clothes that don't fit and chase a youth that's already gone. That's not what this is about. This is about stewardship. This is about preparing yourself, body, soul, and house to receive what heaven is aligning for you. Because hear me clearly, if you're not ready, you'll sabotage the very blessing you've been praying for. Let's start with your body. And I know what you're thinking. Pastor, I'm 70 years old. My body is what it is. I've got arthritis, high blood pressure, and a knee that sounds like popcorn when I stand up. I hear you. But here's what God is saying tonight. You don't need to be 25. You need to be present. You need to be awake. You need to have enough energy to actually enjoy what's coming. 1 Corinthians 17 says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. Your body is still God's temple, and temples require maintenance. Not vanity, maintenance." I'm talking about simple things: better sleep, drinking water instead of living on coffee and Diet Coke, taking a 15-minute walk around the block instead of sitting in that chair all day watching the news destroy your peace. I'm talking about smiling again. When's the last time you looked in the mirror and smiled at yourself? Not grimaced, not criticized, smiled. Because that younger person God is sending, they're not looking for perfection. They're looking for life. And if your body is a tomb instead of a temple, you'll repel the very gift heaven is delivering. But let's go deeper. Your body is the easy part, your soul. That's where the real work begins. How many of you are still carrying bitterness from your ex-spouse? How many of you are still rehearsing the betrayal, the abandonment, the years you wasted on someone who didn't deserve you, and now you think you're ready for someone new? You're not. Because if you don't release that poison, the next person will drink it. They'll pay for crimes they didn't commit. They'll walk into a relationship where the ghosts of your past are sitting at the dinner table every single night. Hebrews 10:29 warns us, "See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many." That bitter root doesn't just hurt you. It defiles everyone who gets close to you. So right now, I need you to do something that's going to hurt. I need you to forgive. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Whisper it out loud if you have to. I release you. I forgive you. You no longer have power over my future. Feel that weight lifting. That's not weakness. Warfare. You just took back territory the enemy has occupied for decades. Now let's talk about your house. And I don't just mean the physical building, though we'll get to that. I'm talking about your family, your adult children, your grandkids, the people who are going to have opinions about this younger person walking into your life. Let me tell you something that's going to shock you. Your children don't get a vote. They don't. I know that's hard to hear. I know you've spent your whole life putting them first. But you are not asking their permission to be loved again. That said, you owe them honesty. Not justification. Honesty. Here's what you say. I know this may feel strange to you. I'm not replacing your mom. I'm not replacing your dad. I'm honoring the fact that God still sees me as worthy of love. And I hope you'll celebrate that with me. But even if you can't, I'm moving forward. Short, respectful, final. Because here's the truth. Some of your kids are going to be thrilled for you. Others are going to panic about inheritance, about change, about losing their place in your life. That's their issue to work through, not yours. And now the physical house. Walk through your home right now mentally if you have to. What does it say? Does it say, I'm still living in 19 Tennessee? Does it say, I'm waiting to die? Or does it say, I'm ready for new life. I'm not telling you to gut renovate. I'm telling you to clear out the shrine. Take down the 20 photos of your late spouse in the living room. Not because you're dishonoring their memory, but because you're making space for your future. Box up the clothes that have been hanging in the closet for 10 years. Donate them. Bless someone else. Think of it like this. You're a landlord preparing for a new tenant. Before they move in, you check the pipes, the wiring, the foundation. You make sure everything works. God is doing the same thing with your life right now. He's checking your spiritual plumbing. He's testing your emotional wiring. He's examining whether your foundation can handle what he's about to build. And some of you, your foundation is cracked. Not because you're weak, but because you've been standing on lies. Lies like, I'm too old. Lies like, nobody could want me now. Lies like, this is all I deserve. Those lies are getting jackhammered out tonight. And yes, it's going to shake you. But what God rebuilds is earthquake-proof. You're not just waiting for someone to arrive. You're getting ready to receive them. Well, there's a difference. Waiting is passive. Preparation is warfare. In the next section, I'm going to take you into a prophetic picture of what your life could actually look like with this younger partner, so you can discern the difference between fantasy and God's design. Because not every attraction is from heaven, and you need to know how to tell the difference before you make a move that could cost you everything. If you feel God nudging you to get your house in order spiritually, emotionally, even financially, just type, Lord, prepare me. That's your agreement with heaven. That's you saying, I'm not playing games anymore. I'm serious about this. Because the clock is ticking, and God is about to move. Now listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to show you is going to shatter every lie you've been told about your future. Close your eyes for just a moment. I want you to see something that heaven has already written in the book of your destiny. It's early morning. Sunlight streams through your kitchen window, painting everything gold. And there at the table across from you sits someone younger. Not a fantasy, not a mistake. A partner. Their hand reaches across and touches yours as you both bow your heads. You're praying together. Real prayer. The kind that shakes hell and opens heaven. Their voice is strong where yours trembles. Your wisdom anchors what their passion ignites. This is not replacement. This is reinforcement. You're not being replaced by youth. You're being partnered with it. Can you see it? Tuesday afternoon, you're at the doctor's office. But you're not alone anymore. No more sitting in that waiting room with strangers, pretending you're fine. Hiding the fear that gnaws at you when the doctor uses words you don't understand. This time, there's a hand holding yours. Someone who drove you there. Someone who remembers to ask the questions you forget. Someone whose younger strength carries what your tired body can no longer lift alone. Ecclesiastes 4:10 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." God didn't write that verse with an age limit, beloved. He wrote it for you, right now, in your 70s, in your 80s, when you thought partnership was something you'd buried with your past. Sunday morning at church, you walk in together, not hiding, not ashamed. You're serving side by side. Maybe they're leading worship with that young fire in their voice, while you're in the prayer room interceding with decades of tested faith. Maybe they're organizing the youth ministry while you're counseling the marriages that are falling apart. Together, you're a weapon hell didn't see coming. One generation's anointing multiplied by another generation's energy. This is what Song of Solomon Tempe said meant when it declared, "Many waters cannot quench love. Rivers cannot sweep it away. The river of age cannot sweep away what God has joined. The flood of public opinion cannot drown what heaven has ordained." Picture this, you're at the grocery store. Yes, the grocery store. Such a mundane, everyday moment, but you're laughing. Actually laughing. Over something silly, something small, something that wouldn't matter to anyone else. But it matters to you because you forgot what it felt like to have someone who wants to make you smile, who reaches for the heavy bag before you do, who remembers you like the coffee creamer with hazelnut, not vanilla. You travel occasionally, nothing extravagant, maybe just a weekend at the coast, sitting on a park bench watching the waves. Their head rests on your shoulder, your arm around them, and for the first time in years, you're not thinking about what you've lost. You're marveling at what God restored. Let me tell you about Margaret, 68 years old, widow for 9 years. She met David at a community Bible study. He was 52, divorced. Broken, she thought she was too old for this, too set in her ways, too tired to start over. But God whispered, "I didn't bring you through 9 years of loneliness to leave you there. I brought you through it to prepare you for this." Today, they've been married for 3 years. She told me, "I thought my story ended at 59 when my husband died. I didn't know God was writing a sequel." And Thomas, 72 years old, never married, spent his whole life serving, giving, pouring out. Met Rachel at a missions conference. She was 55, a single mother with grown children who'd walked away from her. Thomas said to me, "Pastor, I thought God forgot about me. Turns out he was just waiting until I was wise enough to love someone else's wounds without trying to fix them." These are not scandals. These are not cautionary tales. These are testimonies of a God who does not mock his faithful servants in their later years. He honors them. You were faithful when no one saw. You gave when nobody said thank you. You prayed in secret while others posted their lives for applause. And now God is not laughing at you. He's not setting you up for humiliation. He's setting you up for partnership that will shock everyone who counted you out. But I need to pray with you right now, right where you are. Don't overthink it. Just agree with me in your spirit. Father God, I stand in the gap for every chosen one hearing my voice. I pray for the healing of shame that has kept them silent. I pray for the release of loneliness that has convinced them they're too old to be wanted. Lord, if there is a younger person in their life right now, I ask for clarity. If this person is from you, confirm it in peace and integrity. Let there be no confusion, no manipulation, no hidden motives. But God, if they are not from you, close that door gently but firmly. Protect your servant from deception. In Jesus' name. Heaven did not forget you. Heaven scheduled you for companionship. The enemy wants you to believe that your age disqualifies you from love. But God says your age qualifies you for a love that's mature enough to last, deep enough to matter, tested enough to survive. If you receive this prophetic picture, if you can see yourself thriving with someone younger in a God-led union, put in the comments right now, "I am not too old for God's plans." Let that confession break every lie of the enemy. Let it rise up like a battle cry that shakes the gates of hell. Because what I'm about to show you next will prove that this younger person might already be in your life, and you've been too afraid to see the signs. Let me tell you what's about to happen the moment your family finds out. And I need you to brace yourself, because this is where most people cave. This is where most chosen ones surrender their joy on the altar of other people's opinions. Your daughter's going to look at you with that concerned face, the one she used to give you when you were the parent and she was the child, and she's going to say, "Mom, he's using you." Can't you see that? Your son's going to pull you aside, put his hand on your shoulder like you've lost your mind, and whisper, "Dad, this is embarrassing. You're making a fool of yourself at your age." That church friend, the one you've known for 30 years, she's going to smile that tight, fake smile and say, "Well, I'm praying for you," which is church code for, "You've officially lost it." And here's what's going to cut the deepest. They're going to make you feel like wanting love at 70 is somehow selfish. Like desiring companionship at 65 is inappropriate. like being chosen by someone who makes your heart race is undignified. But I need to ask you something, and I need you to answer honestly, even if it hurts. When did you stop being a person and become only a parent? When did your children get promoted to God? When did their approval become more important than the voice of the Almighty who actually created you? You didn't stop being a woman when you became a mother. You didn't stop being a man when you became a father. You didn't stop having a beating heart, desires, dreams, and the need to be seen when you hit 60. Your children got one part of your heart when they were born. But God still reserves the right to send someone for the rest. Listen to me carefully. You are both a parent and a person, two roles, one soul. And the moment your family forgets that you're still human, the moment they try to reduce you to just mom or just dad, they're not honoring you, they're erasing you. Exodus 29:2 says, "Honor your father and mother," but that street runs both ways, beloved. Honor means seeing the fullness of who someone is. It means respecting their God-given right to joy, to love, to life. Your children are called to honor you, not control you, not shame you, not treat you like a child who needs permission to feel alive. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but they're just worried about me. They don't want me to get hurt. And yes, some of that is genuine concern. But let me ask you this, have they ever considered that watching you die slowly from loneliness might be hurting you more than any relationship ever could? Here's what your family is really afraid of. They're afraid of change. They're afraid of sharing you. They're afraid that if you find love, you won't be available to babysit on demand, to be the emotional support system they've relied on, to stay frozen in the role they've assigned you. They're not afraid you'll get hurt. They're afraid they'll lose their convenience. And some of them, I'm going to say this because it needs to be said, some of them are jealous. They're stuck in dead marriages or bitter divorces. And watching you come alive at an age when they think life is supposed to be over, that terrifies them. Your joy convicts their resignation. But here's the truth that will set you free. Honoring your children does not mean handing them the remote control to your joy. Respecting your family does not mean letting them vote on whether your heart gets to beat again. Loving them does not require you to die emotionally so they can stay comfortable. Proverbs 4:23 commands, "Above all else guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Not guard their opinions, not guard their comfort. Guard your heart, because if your heart dies, everything that flows from you dies too. Your grandchildren won't remember a grandmother who sacrificed her happiness to make everyone else comfortable. They'll remember a ghost who went through the motions while her soul slowly suffocated. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to have a conversation, not a permission meeting, not an apology session, a conversation. And you're going to say this, write this down: I love you. I'm not asking for your approval. I'm asking for your trust. Trust that I've lived long enough to know my own heart. Trust that the God who's kept me this long hasn't suddenly stopped caring about my well-being. You speak to them with transparency, yes. With patience, absolutely. But also with boundaries. You explain that this isn't about disrespecting them. It's about honoring the life God still has planned for you. You invite them to meet this person, to see with their own eyes that this is real, that this is good, that this is God. But here's what you don't do. You don't beg, you don't shrink, you don't apologize for being alive. You don't let their fear of your happiness become your prison. Some of them will come around, some won't, and the ones who can't celebrate your joy, they're revealing something about themselves, not about you. Proverbs 10:10 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity." Real love celebrates your breakthrough. Counterfeit love demands your continued brokenness. If family opinion has ever made you shut down your own heart, if you've ever sacrificed your joy to keep the peace, if you're sitting here right now knowing that the moment you tell them World War I is going to break out in your living room, just whisper this: God, give me courage and tenderness at the same time. He can hold both, and so can you. Because the question you need to answer isn't, what will my family think? The question is, what will I tell God when He asks why I wasted the years He gave me trying to earn approval from people who forgot I'm still alive? Now some of you are wondering, but what if they're right? What if I am being foolish? And that's exactly what we need to address next, because there is a test, a biblical litmus test that will reveal, beyond any shadow of doubt, whether this connection is divine or demonic. And beloved, you need to know this before you take one more step forward. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you might explain the last 3 weeks of your life. The moment, and I mean the exact moment, heaven whispers the word, "Younger partner, over your destiny," something strange happens. Your ex who hasn't called in 2 years suddenly texts you at mint 1 p.m. That charming stranger with the perfect smile appears out of nowhere at the grocery store, saying all the right things. An old flame slides into your Facebook messages with, "I've been thinking about you." You think that's coincidence. You think that's romance. No, beloved, that's warfare. The enemy can't stop what God has aligned. He doesn't have that kind of power. But what he can do, what he's been doing since the Garden of Eden, is offer you a counterfeit so convincing, so perfectly timed, that you'll trade the real thing for a replica and never know the difference until it's too late. Think about it. When the Israelites were waiting for Moses to come down from Mount Sinai with the real tablets from God, what did they do? They got impatient. They got restless, and they built a golden calf. Exodus 34 says they declared, "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." They worshipped a fake god they made with their own hands, while the real God was writing His covenant just a few hundred feet above them. You're standing at the base of that same mountain right now. God's writing something holy for you up there. But down here, the enemy's melting gold, whispering, "Why wait? This looks close enough. This feels good enough. This person wants you right now." Let me give you a picture. You know those fake designer bags they sell on the streets of Manhattan? At a distance from across Fifth Avenue, that knockoff Guxy looks identical to the real one. Same colors, same logo, same shape. But get up close. Look at the stitching. It's uneven. The leather's cheap, the zipper catches, and the inside is garbage wrapped in glitter. Counterfeit love works exactly the same way. From a distance, it looks like what you've been praying for. The age gap is right. The attraction is there. They say they love God. They quote scripture. They make you feel alive again after years of feeling dead inside. But beloved, if you look closer, if you slow down long enough to actually look, you'll see the stitching is off. Let me give you 3 questions that will expose a counterfeit every single time. Write these down. First, does this connection respect your walk with God, or does it seduce you away from it? Real love from heaven pulls you closer to God, not further. If this person makes you skip prayer, avoid church, or compromise your convictions to keep them interested, that's not love. That's bait. James 4 says, "Submit yourselves to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." If you have to resist God to keep this person, you've got your answer. Second question, does this relationship demand secrecy and speed? Counterfeit love always rushes you. We need to move fast before you change your mind. Don't tell your kids, yet they won't understand. Let's keep this between us for now. You know why the enemy rushes you? Because time exposes lies. Proverbs 19:2 warns, "It is not good to have zeal without knowledge, nor to be hasty and miss the way." Real love can wait. Real love can be examined in the light. Fake love hides in urgency. Third question, and this one will cut you. Does it cost you peace or integrity to keep this connection alive? Do you feel a knot in your stomach when you're with them? Do you have to lie to your family? Do you ignore that quiet voice in your spirit saying, "Something's not right here"? Colossians 3:30 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." The word rule there means to act as an umpire. If your peace is gone, the game is over. God's not in it. Here's what I need you to understand. The counterfeit doesn't show up to destroy you immediately. It shows up to delay you, to distract you, to keep you so busy chasing the wrong person that you're not spiritually positioned when the right one arrives. And the cruelest part, the counterfeit often feels better at first. It's easier. It's faster. It asks less of you. Because Satan's not trying to make you miserable right away. He's trying to make you comfortable in the wrong place. I'm going to show you one red flag that almost always shows up in a counterfeit, especially when there's an age gap. It's subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Don't miss this. But here's the climax of what I need you to hear tonight. Heaven will never send you someone who makes you hide what God just healed. Did you hear that? Let me say it again, because the enemy doesn't want this to land. Heaven will never send you someone who makes you hide what God just healed. If God spent the last 5 years teaching you boundaries, He's not sending someone who tramples them. If He healed your addiction, He's not sending someone who keeps alcohol in the house. If He restored your dignity after abuse, He's not sending someone who demeans you in private. The real deal from God will honor what God already did in you. The counterfeit will ask you to pretend it never happened. If you suspect even slightly that there might be a counterfeit in your life right now, I need you to do something bold. Type in the comments, "Lord, expose every fake." That's not superstition. That's your spiritual permission slip. You're giving God access to reveal what you've been too afraid or too hopeful to see on your own. Because what's coming next is the real thing, and you need your hands empty to receive it. Listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you is going to cut deeper than anything we've talked about so far. You think this younger person showing up in your life is just about romance. You think God is handing you a second chance at love because He felt bad about how your first marriage ended. No, beloved, that's surface level. That's what your mind thinks is happening. But your spirit knows better. Sometimes God uses a younger partner as a living, breathing reminder. A walking prophecy that says, your younger years were not a waste. I'm redeeming them. You're 73 years old right now, but there's still a 25-year-old inside you who never got to speak, who never got to be protected, who settled for crumbs when they deserved a feast. And that younger you has been locked in a cage of regret for 50 years, watching life happen through bars of what if and if only. Tell me something honest. When was the last time you let yourself think about the person you were before life broke you? Before that marriage where you stayed silent to keep the peace? Before that job that crushed your dreams into dust? Before you learned to make yourself small so others could feel big? You remember that younger version of yourself, don't you? The one who still believed in magic. The one who thought love was supposed to feel like fire, not obligation. The one who had dreams so big they scared you. What happened to that person? I'll tell you what happened. Life happened. Disappointment happened. You got told to be realistic. So many times you forgot what hope even felt like. You married someone because it was time. You stayed in situations that were killing you because you thought suffering was holiness. You believed the lie that wanting more meant you were selfish. And now, decades later, you're sitting in a house that feels like a museum of everything you gave up. Every room a monument to compromises you made. Every photograph a reminder of smiles you faked. Every empty chair a ghost of conversations you never had the courage to start. 2 Corinthians 5:10 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come." But here's what most preachers won't tell you. God doesn't erase your story when He makes you new. He doesn't delete the chapters that hurt. He rewinds the tape so He can record a better ending over the part that broke you. Think about that. God isn't saying your younger years didn't matter. He's saying they matter so much that He's going back to finish what got interrupted. He's picking up the pen where you dropped it and writing the rest of the story Himself. That younger person He's bringing into your life, they're not just a romantic interest, they're a mirror, a living reflection of the you that still exists underneath all the scar tissue and survival mechanisms. They carry the energy, the hope, the belief in possibility that you buried alive when you decided it was too late for you. But God is saying tonight it was never too late. You just needed to heal first. I want you to do something right now. Close your eyes for a moment. I'm serious. Close them. Picture yourself at 25 years old. See that face, those eyes, that version of you who still thought anything was possible. Now ask yourself, what would you say to that younger you if you could go back? What would you protect them from? What warning would you give? What courage would you pour into their heart? Maybe you'd say, don't marry him just because everyone expects it. Maybe you'd say, your dreams are not silly. Chase them. Maybe you'd say, you are not too much. You are not too loud. You are not too sensitive. You are enough exactly as you are. Whatever you would say to that younger version of yourself, write it down. Say it out loud. Because that same protection, that same wisdom, that same fierce love is what you bring into any relationship now. You're not the damaged goods the world tried to convince you that you are. You're the elder who survived the fire and learned how to walk through flames without burning. Psalm C1-10 declares, since my youth, God, you have taught me, and to this day I declare your marvelous deeds. Even when I am old and grey, do not forsake me, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your mighty acts to all who are to come. Do you see it now? God didn't keep you alive this long just so you could exist. He kept you alive so you could pour everything you've learned into someone who needs it. That younger partner isn't here to fix you. You're already whole in Christ. They're here to witness the resurrection, to see what happens when someone who was dead in regret suddenly comes alive in redemption. Chosen one, God is aligning you with a younger partner, but first He's aligning you with the younger you inside. He's healing the part of you that still feels 25 and terrified. The part that never got to bloom because the soil was poisoned. The part that deserved to be cherished but learned to accept being tolerated instead. You're not just getting a second chance at romance. You're getting a second chance at you. And if that touched something so deep in you that you can barely breathe right now, if tears are streaming down your face and you don't even know why, type in the comments, God heal the younger me. That's not silly. That's spiritual surgery. That's you finally giving God permission to reach into the past and pull out the person He always intended you to be. But healing the younger you is only the beginning. Because once you're whole, once you're aligned, once you understand why this younger person appeared in your timeline, then comes the question everyone's been afraid to ask. How do you know if this connection is divine appointment or demonic distraction? Now listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you might save you from the biggest mistake of your golden years. You've felt the stirring. You've recognized the divine appointment. You've even allowed yourself to believe that God might actually be aligning you with someone younger. But here's where most people crash and burn. They confuse spiritual confirmation with permission to throw wisdom out the window. Let me be blunt with you. The same God who sent them to you also gave you a brain, a bank account, and 70+ years of hard-won lessons. And He expects you to use all three. You think romance and wisdom can't coexist. That's the devil's lie. That's the whisper that says, if you really loved them, you wouldn't need boundaries. If this was really from God, you wouldn't need protection. But that's not faith, beloved. That's foolishness dressed up in spiritual language. Proverbs 20:2 cuts straight to it. The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. You are not simple. You are chosen, and chosen ones move with both passion and protection. So, let's talk about what nobody in your church wants to discuss, but everybody over 60 needs to hear. First, your money. That nest egg you've built over decades of work, that social security check, that house with your name on the deed. Those are not romantic obstacles. Those are your independence, your dignity, your ability to take care of yourself if everything goes sideways. And here's what breaks my heart. I've watched too many seniors hand over their financial power in the name of trust and love, only to end up broke, homeless, and abandoned when the younger partner's true colors finally showed. You need a will. You need power of attorney documents, and yes, if marriage is on the table, you need a prenuptial agreement. I don't care if it feels unromantic. I don't care if they get offended. Because here's the truth, anyone who truly loves you will want you protected. Anyone who gets defensive about legal protection is waving a red flag the size of Texas. 1 Timothy 5:10 says it plain. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. That includes providing for your future self. That includes protecting what you've worked your whole life to build. Now let's talk about pace. You're lonely. I get it. You've been alone for months, maybe years, maybe decades. And suddenly someone sees you, wants you, desires you. The temptation to rush is overwhelming. But rushing is how people get hurt. Rushing is how predators operate. Rushing is the enemy's favorite tactic because it short-circuits discernment. Don't move in together next month. Don't merge bank accounts after 6 weeks. Don't put their name on your house because they're having temporary financial trouble. Take time, real time, to see how they handle conflict. To watch how they treat waiters and cashiers. To notice if they only call when they need something. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. This is your season to move slowly, wisely, deliberately. Speed is not proof of passion. Patience is proof of maturity. And now we need to talk about intimacy. Not because I'm your parent, but because nobody else will tell you the truth. Affection at your age is not dirty. It's not shameful. It's not something to hide or apologize for. But it is sacred. And sacred things require honor, not haste. Whatever level of physical intimacy you're considering, you need to talk about it first. Your comfort, your health, your boundaries, your expectations. This isn't junior high school where you just figure it out in the back seat. You're adults. You've earned the right to have honest conversations about what you want, what you can handle, and what lines you're not willing to cross. And if they can't have that conversation, if they pressure you, rush you, make you feel guilty for wanting to go slow, that's not love. That's manipulation. Think of it this way: guardrails on a scenic highway. The guardrails don't ruin the drive. They let you enjoy the view without going over the edge. Your boundaries aren't obstacles to love. They're the framework that makes love sustainable. Song of Solomon 2:10 warns, do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Real love waits. Real love respects. Real love doesn't steamroll your hesitation or mock your caution. Here's what I need you to understand: you can be wise and romantic at the same time. Wisdom doesn't kill love. It protects it. Boundaries don't destroy passion. They create safety for passion to grow without fear. At the very end of this message, I'm going to give you a simple, 3-part prayer you can pray before any serious conversation with this person about money, marriage, or moving. Don't miss that. It's a weapon. If you've ever been burned in those areas before, if you've ever given too much, trusted too fast, Ignored the red flags because you were lonely? Just type in the comments right now, "Lord, I choose wisdom this time." That confession is you stepping into a new pattern. That declaration is you breaking the cycle of emotional desperation that the enemy has used against you for years. Because here's the truth: God didn't bring you this far to watch you get schemed, used, or broken by someone who saw your loneliness as an opportunity. But how do you know the difference between divine caution and fear-based resistance? How do you tell if you're being wise or just being afraid? That's exactly what we're about to uncover. Beloved chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred hour together, I need you to hold on to 3 eternal truths that will anchor your soul in the days ahead. First, the stirring in your heart for love, for connection, for being wanted. That's not weakness. That's not foolishness. That's the image of God in you crying out for communion, because our God is a God of relationship. You were never meant to walk this earth alone. Second, wisdom and romance are not enemies. They're partners. The boundaries you set, the questions you ask, the caution you exercise, these aren't obstacles to love. They're the foundation that love can safely build upon. Protection doesn't kill passion. It preserves it. Third, age is not your disqualification. Your grey hair is not a curse. Your slower pace is not a liability. What you carry, your depth, your discernment, your decades of walking with God through fire, that is exactly what makes you capable of a love that transcends the superficial connections this world mistakes for intimacy. But here's what I need you to know with absolute certainty: you are not walking this path alone. Right now, as you sit there wondering if you heard God correctly, wondering if you have the courage to step forward, wondering if your heart can risk being broken again, the God who breathed galaxies into existence is leaning in close, whispering your name, reminding you that He has never left you and He never will. And beyond God's presence, you have this community. Look at these comments. Thousands of souls just like you, carrying the same questions, fighting the same fears, believing for the same breakthrough. We're not just viewers on a screen, we're a family of faith, and we will stand with you, pray with you, and remind you that your story is far from over. So let me ask you this, now that you know God hasn't forgotten you, now that you understand your desire for love is holy, now that you've been given the tools to move forward with wisdom, what will you do with this revelation? Will you step forward in faith, or will you let fear convince you to stay in the safe prison of loneliness? Before you answer, before you click away, let me place my hand on your shoulder and pray over your life with everything in me. Heavenly Father, I lift up every precious soul who has stayed with us through this entire message. Lord, you see them. You know their names. You've counted every tear they've cried in lonely rooms, wondering if love would ever find them again. You've heard every prayer they've whispered at 2 a.m., asking if they're crazy for still wanting to be chosen. God, I pray that you would silence every voice of shame that has told them their desires died with their youth. Break the lie that says they're too old, too damaged, too ordinary for extraordinary love. Remind them that you are the God of Sarah at 90, the God of Moses at 80, the God who specializes in writing beautiful final chapters. Give them discernment, Lord. Let them know the difference between divine alignment and dangerous distraction. Protect their hearts, their resources, their dignity. Send them relationships that honor them, not use them. Surround them with people who see their worth, not their vulnerability. And Father, for those who are afraid to hope again, breathe courage into their bones. Let them feel your pleasure over their lives. Let them know that desiring love at any age is not selfish, it's human. It's holy, it's exactly how you designed them. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer and release your blessing over every person hearing my voice. Amen. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us what God spoke to your heart today. Ask your questions, we're here to walk with you. And if this message touched something deep in your spirit, share it with someone else who needs to hear that their story isn't over. Thank you for giving me this entire hour. Thank you for trusting me with your time, your attention, your heart. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join this family. We're just getting started, and your presence here matters more than you know. Remember, Chosen One, the best love stories are written by the author who never runs out of ink. Go in peace, go in power. Go in the absolute certainty that you are loved, you are seen, and your next chapter is about to begin.